Welcome to the Seeking Justice podcast, a podcast dedicated to exploring and spotlighting issues of justice and injustice throughout the world. I'm your host, Benedict Bloggs, a passionate and dedicated social and environmental justice advocate throughout my entire adult life, and now a barrister at law and international human rights advocate based in Brisbane, Australia. I want to use this platform to give a voice to the voiceless, to interview interesting guests working on important human rights and social justice and environmental issues, and as an independent media mechanism to carry on call forth positive change in our societies and our world. The Seeking Justice podcast crew acknowledge the First Nations peoples of Australia, specifically the Yuggera and Turrbal peoples of Meanjin and Brisbane, the traditional custodians of the lands on which we live and work. We acknowledge that their sovereignty was never ceded. We pay our respects to their ancestors, their descendants, their elders past, present and emerging, who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. We recognise their valuable contributions to Australian and global societies. We acknowledge the stories, traditions and living cultures of our First Nations peoples and their contributions and sacrifices towards a better community and a better future. We also acknowledge the need for all of us to reclaim our own indigeneities from the lands from whence we came.
Is that the sound of shooting?
Is that the sound of shooting? Mohammed, what's that sound in the background? Okay. No, that's fine. We just wanted to make sure you're all okay. Like it sounded like gunshots is all, so we weren't sure. Welcome everyone to the Seeking Justice podcast. This is the first episode and I'm joined by some very special guests, Mohammed Abo Mansour, who's in Gaza right now, in North Gaza, and Isabella Kershaw, who's in Sydney. And I'm Benedict Bloggs, a human rights barrister based in Brisbane, Australia, and an international human rights advocate. And I've started this podcast because I want to give a voice to certainly people in Gaza who have been going through a genocide there, and in order for them to be able to platform their voices, as well as people around the world with other important human rights issues. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners, the Yuggera and Turrbal First Nations people of the land on which I am, and the custodianship of those lands where I'm based. I acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded by them. I pay my respects to their ancestors, descendants, their elders past, present and emerging, who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country, and I recognise their valuable contributions to Australia and global society. I also want to give a special shout out to Ahmed Al-Shanti in Gaza, who produced the video introduction to this podcast. I was very keen to be able to give work to people in Gaza, and I was able to engage him to miraculously produce that amazing video introduction, notwithstanding, again, he's in the middle of a absolutely decimated and desecrated place. Another shout out I want to give is to Mohammed Asuwan, who's a lawyer and legal consultant who is also based in North Gaza. He was meant to be my first interview. I've made a lot of connections with people in Gaza through LinkedIn and through my advocacy on LinkedIn. And all of the networking through LinkedIn about Gaza means that LinkedIn, you should probably sponsor this podcast. But I hope, Mohammed, wherever you are, you're safe. We were getting everything in order. I'd found a Palestinian interpreter based in Toowoomba here, actually, after our English-Arabic translator in Gaza fell through. and we were ready to go, and then his LinkedIn account went dark and it's just disappeared. So I'm not sure what's happened, and I'm very concerned, and I hope that he is okay. So without further ado, I'm introducing Mohammed Abo Mansour. He's a 21-year-old freelancer content writer and English-Arabic translator from Northern Gaza, where he is right now. He's currently studying English literature at Al-Aqsa University, and one of the universities that's been destroyed. Despite the hardships of living in a war-torn region, including the loss of his home and limited access to electricity and internet, Mohammed has worked to build a career in freelancing to support himself and his family, who consists of 5 persons, including his brother and his sister. Mohammed's family are trying to collect money so that they can rent a house because their house has been destroyed, as you'll see. And when the war ends, very sadly, they're going to be homeless and have to potentially live in the street without a place to live. The challenges are immense. Platforms like PayPal, GoFundMe, and UpWork have been restricting Palestinians, and they've come under the criticism of the business and human rights monitors, which has made it very difficult to access funds or grow professionally. Notwithstanding that, Mohammed has been doing all he can to secure work while he's in Gaza, and that's also part of what we're doing here today to promote him and others who are still have these amazing skills to offer the world and the community, and they're ready to work in Gaza. So you can contact them through LinkedIn and set that up. With the help of Mohammed's friend, who's here today as well, Isabella Kershaw, who's based in Sydney, Mohammed has started a fundraiser to rebuild his and his family's life and to hopefully pursue opportunities in Australia, where he hopes to secure a visa and begin anew. Mohammed's goal is to share the reality of life in Gaza and have a better life in Australia away from war, which everyone can understand, of course. Isabella Kershaw is a 22-year-old settler Australian-Egyptian woman living on unceded Wallumedegal lands in so-called Australia. With experience in the legal, commercial and not-for-profit sectors, Isabella is now undertaking a Bachelor of Arts in International Relations and Indigenous Studies, with a view to building a career in social justice and systems change. She has been engaged in activism to end the genocide in Gaza since October 2023. Isabella is motivated by a decolonial, anti-racist, anti-capitalist, feminist and non-violent worldview, and she is unshakably dedicated to the liberation of all people from oppressive and violent structures. Isabella currently works in the sexual, domestic and family violence sector and hopes to see a free Palestine soon, as we all do. Welcome, Mohammed, and welcome, Isabella. Thank you so much for joining us, Mohammed. And Isabella,
Thank you for having us. It's a really good opportunity to get the word out, and really appreciated to have professionals in the Australian community inviting these stories onto their platforms.
Absolutely, Isabella. It's extremely important, especially in this digital age where we have all of these tools at our fingertips. I really want to get to talking about how you guys have manifested and created this friendship around the world in the midst of a genocide. It's truly inspiring. But Mohammed, to start off with, can you talk about your background, your childhood, your studies, your family, and your experience in Gaza before October 7, but then certainly after that as well?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you? Work or studies like other persons, but when the war came, like everything is gone. We were like, and now we are minus. Nothing is here. So everything is destroyed, and we don't know what to say. It's because of our government, our identity. We don't know. Uh, our government said, okay, we are fighting for Islam and something like that. Okay, but the deal is to become like 6 October, like with the whole life before 7 October. So what is the benefit of the war? What is the benefit of everything? You destroyed the whole city. You destroyed the people. A lot of people died. A lot of people lost their homes. A lot of people lost their money, their jobs. Okay, what is the benefit of that all? And after all, they say it's okay. People here because they are really really mad. They said, okay, we need a tent just in this war. You cannot go out when the time is 5 o'clock at PM. You sit in your home. There's no electricity, no internet. You bring water. You bring woods every day. You cook with woods, with fire. A hard life. And I cannot continue my university when I I'm trying to figure out with them. I cannot upload. My internet speed is 50 kilobyte. So I don't know how can I upload files when. Okay, and there's the problem with the doctors here. I just want to say it so that people can hear. When you have a student in the war and you say you cannot study well, okay, how can I study well without the internet, without the lights? So that's bad. He gave me like 70 degree for of 100. Okay, you destroyed my score for what? For because I cannot continue my study because this like, no, it's really it's fully destroyed. I just went there before like a month. I went there with my friend. There was no one in the street, no one, and is 1 kilo away. We hear like a rocket coming to us. We run away. What can Yeah, we upload the files on mod like our university page on Model, but there is a problem there. It's always shut down. It's difficult to load for the internet here. You cannot upload files with 50 kilobyte internet. It's really bad thing. Even if, of course, no. Even if I work, I have to upload assignment or video. Even our doctors, when they want to upload a video, most of them they say, okay, I cannot give you the lecture because my internet is really bad or there is a storm. When the storm comes and there is a rain in the sky, the internet shut.
You're still smiling. You were having a laugh with us before. I mean, it's an incredible testament to your spirit, Mohammed, and all of your family and your people there. And on that note, I just want to bring in Isabella. Isabella, do you want to talk about and Mohammed how you guys met and what the background is? And Isabella, I think you mentioned you had been to Jordan in the past. Is that right?
Yeah, I very recently went to Egypt and Jordan. And when I was in Jordan, actually stood on Mount Nebo and looked into the West Bank, and that, still felt completely removed from the situation, still felt so distant, even though you can see it right there. But Mohammed contacted me on Instagram and asked me to donate to and share his fundraiser. There's a lot of kind of suspicion around digital communication now, but if you're a little bit discerning, like asking a few questions and making some easy checks, it's not actually beyond you to be able to figure out if somebody is being truthful and is a real person or not. So Mohammed has been consistently transparent, patient, really proactive. And we're now at a point where we're both actually supporting and learning from each other throughout this really incredibly dark time. And that cooperation has put us in a strategic position to be able to advocate for Mohammed's future. Like, you don't have to kind of live in the same village anymore to be able to stand beside someone. And it's that kind of loyalty and compassion that you find in friendship that is actually a real challenge to these hollow structures that keep having to kill people to justify themselves. So Mohammed's life and happiness is now really important to me as my friend, and that is incredibly motivating. And that's where this kind of allyship has come from between Mohammed and I.
That's beautiful and very touching. And you had mentioned to me, Isabella, that you guys have communicated regularly since that first meeting via Instagram, and you'll video call and keep in touch and, find out what's happening and trying to assist. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we have been keeping in touch predominantly using WhatsApp, but also on Instagram, LinkedIn, and on video calls. And that kind of proximity to each other, like even though we're on other sides of the world, being able to communicate in real time is really actually quite scary. Like, the context that this friendship is happening in is really terrifying. I can pretty much guarantee my safety on a daily basis, but Mohammed's life is being actively threatened every day. Like, we'll call and you can't even talk over the noise of the planes in the background. And I've asked Mohammed before, what is that noise? And it's always, it's a drone, it's shooting, it's a plane carrying M16 bombs. And we're sitting there on the phone trying to ignore that buzz in the background. What did you call it, Mohammed? That noise that the drones make? Yeah. And what does it mean? Yeah. Yeah. And that is just omnipresent throughout all of our communication. And it's really interesting seeing how people respond to that disclosure that, you know, I'm in communication with a man in Gaza, he's become my friend. It's always immediately suspicion, always doubting its legitimacy, and not, you know, it's very bizarre to be sitting on the other end of the phone, looking at him show me where he's sleeping, his room's flooded, looking out his window, and everything, as far as you can see, is destroyed. And people will still have the audacity to doubt the legitimacy of his situation and question his sincerity, and also my ability to know whether or not I'm being scammed or not. It's been very interesting.
And what have you been able to, in terms of plans of trying to help Mohammed even perhaps leave Gaza and his family, can you talk about, you know, what you've been exploring with that?
Yeah, so originally this partnership started with me offering to take over, to try and get donations to Mohammed's GoFundMe and eventually take over the management of his GoFundMe campaign. We've raised, I think, around $1,600 now, which is approximately 5% of the target goal. And we're only approximating a target goal of around 30,000 Australian dollars. But with the bribery and control as well that is hanging over the situation, it's actually very difficult to quantify how much it actually will cost. So especially as someone with no special expertise in funding or immigration, it's essentially been me reaching out to people and organizations who may be placed to assist, try and obtain advice for them about immigration, about the visa process, which has honestly not been very heartening. And actually trying to support Mohammed as well to find paid employment and find workarounds in a digital environment that has actually essentially segregated and sanctioned Palestinians from being able to access resources and support. Like, he's blocked from PayPal, he's restricted on GoFundMe and UpWork. And at the same time, we're also trying to find pro bono legal support to prepare his visa application. But the situation is so politicized that even if we tick all of the boxes, there's a real possibility that Mohammed will not be allowed to come to Australia, which is really actually quite frustrating to think about.
Yeah, and so we need to all get out there and be lobbying our members of parliament because, you know, Australia has responsibility as the whole international community to look after not only the reconstruction of Gaza, but looking after the people of Gaza in terms of taking quotas of refugees into our communities and bearing in mind that we are a successful multicultural society. And even on the statistics, I remember when I was running against our good friend Peter Dutton in the 2019 election, the statistics on the contribution that refugee communities make to the Australian economy is amazing. There was one example in a Victorian regional town of the refugees from the Thai-Burmese border, and the regional town was struggling, and they basically welcomed in this community, and over a couple of years they'd contributed some $42 million toward that economy. You know, Mohammed, you can speak English very well. You're a skilled interpreter, translator, and you've got all of these other skills. So you'll be a great asset to this country for sure. And I'm sure there's many people who would like to assist you. And again, that's one of the reasons of amplifying your your story through this podcast and getting people inspired and hopeful that they can make a difference rather than just wallowing in despair. We all feel despair, but it's about actually recognizing our privilege and the fact that we can help other people, and that we have a responsibility, I think, as human beings on this planet to use that privilege to help other people who are in dire need of that assistance.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Isabella, for explaining that, because that's, it is shocking. I've been contacted by a number of families in Gaza, actually many families in Gaza on LinkedIn, in particular with these GoFundMe campaigns. Some people via chuffed.org, but one gentleman that contacted me, he had his campaign suspended by GoFundMe without any explanation, without any right of reply, without anything. And that caused me to look into it a bit further. The Business and Human Rights Resource Centre based out of England had made some criticism of GoFundMe in that regard. And yes, of course, they have policies. Of course, they need to do their due diligence to make sure money's not being raised for armed groups or arming people or, terrorist groups or military. I mean, I think their policy is as broad as the funds cannot be raised for military groups. And of course, that makes absolute sense. But then at the same time, you've got people in dire need. Mohammed, can you talk about the food situation in Northern Gaza? Like, how are you getting food? How expensive is food? What is the situation there?
Okay, the food here before the seas there, it was really expensive because there is no government here, no restrictions for the traders, so they make the price on their own mind. So even 1 kilo of potato costs $100, sometimes $200. You hear sometimes that the flour, the bread, how can we pay for it? It's really, really expensive. The traders, I told you, there is no restrictions here, no government. So when the food came from the airport or from the border, the traders take it from the Israeli army with trucks.
Yes.
They put it in their basement and they sell it with really, really expensive. We had Ramadan. We are fasting in Ramadan, okay? So in Ramadan, the starvation really, began in Gaza. We didn't have any kind of food, no rice, no bread, no vegetables, no nothing. We didn't have anything. We were buying 25 kilo flour for $1,000. We in 1 week. We were 30% in one house, and we pay $1,000 1 week for a week for what? I was just eating two pieces of bread in a day. So where can I go there? There is a disease happened here because of the bad water,
and you
salt
told
water.
me at one point, didn't you, that at one point in the north,
How it means, what it
the
means
people were
in
eating
English?
horse food because there was no access to food.
I don't know. It's called regan. I don't hear it's called regan, which makes your eyes yellow. Well, and it needs 3 weeks to recover yourself. And it needs sugar, something really sweet. And okay, 1 kilo of sugar was $100 or $50, something like that. It was really, really expensive. We cannot afford it, but now after the CIS deal, okay, there is no government, but the traders said they will really cheap. They bring a lot 600 trucks in a day, make the deal. So they had no chance. They have to sell everything here, because if they didn't sell, they will lose everything. So it's getting better, but not that better, because we don't have meat or chicken or something. We have canned things like peas, tuna, what? When the flour was $1,000, we have to eat we have to make new bread. So for children or something, we made from the straw from the horse food. We make a bread from it. I don't know how we make it. It's really, really bad. We bring it, and there is people selling it 1 kilo for $20. 1 kilo, 1 kilo, just making 10 breads and 10 pieces of breads, and it's really disgusting. You cannot even.
And sorry, is this the Israeli army? Yeah.
The signal. This is okay. I mean, okay. We like after like 2 weeks, this all people go south. We were like the only, and like two other families here. We stayed in our neighbor. We didn't to go. We don't have people in south. We don't have relatives. So in like 10 November, the army came here. They said the army came here and they were around us. They were like away, one street away. They throw, yes, Iranian army. It was only our family in the street. We like 60 persons here in the house. Like we're sitting in a small hall, and we hear the rocket blowing up the street, blowing up every house here, and we hear like a rocket coming to the roof of our house. Maybe you saw it, a hole in the house. It was a rocket of an armor, and we were waiting from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning and shooting, bombing everywhere. I said to myself, okay, I died. No chance. I will die now in any moment. But at 6 a.m., we managed to escape. We get out of the house. We hear the quadcopters that have M16 or something like that shooting at people here. The quadcopters came. Yeah, it is a drone. A drone yeah, it is a drone with M16. It's shooting to people. It came, shoot to it shoot to all of us in the body, in the wall. I managed to escape. Okay, I ran away with my family. I just packed our bags. We managed to run away. We went to a house of our relative. To mention, when people here make the war made you know you really well. We if you ask anyone here how is your relationship with family, he said bad because they all just go away for each other house. They fight. They don't handle themselves. They just I don't know why this is. Everyone hates each other. Everyone thinking of himself. There is no support, no family here, no friends. You don't need to take care of yourself, and that's it. And from 10 November until now, we when like 2020 December 2022 22 December, I was they throw a rocket on me and my friend. He died in front of my eyes. I was in the hospital
And
bleeding for
you
7 hours.
can't,
7 hours of
you
bleeding. No
can
doctor saw
imagine
me. No
why
anyone.
the
I just was
tensions are
bleeding in the
so
street.
high
They
between
carry me
people
out.
in
They put me in the
Gaza,
hospital.
and
They
it's not
okay.
the fault of anyone
They
who
they
is
cover
there that
like
their
the
relationships
hole in
are
my leg.
fractured and
Okay, I
tense.
called my family.
And
My family came after
these things
one day.
come out
We
when,
didn't have a signal. I couldn't call
people are
them.
being
They came. They
essentially
saw me. They take me
psychologically
out.
and physically
I had a
tortured
cousin.
every single
He bring an
day.
ambulance for me. Okay,
Especially,
this cousin is
things
dead.
like having
They
to
killed him.
listen to that noise in the
He bring
background
an
every
ambulance for
moment of
me.
your
He take me
life,
to the other house.
having
Care of me.
to
After
fight for
one day,
shelter, fight for food,
my
and the
after they shoot me,
kind of
one day
inequalities that
later,
exist there
we
now
hear
as a result
that
of
our house is
Israel's
destroyed.
genocide.
All this
It's
happened in
no
two
wonder
days.
that people
I
are
saw my friend dead in front of my eyes. I was
turning on one
injured, and my
another
house
and not
destroyed.
supporting one
All
another
happened
because
in
they
2 days.
actually
Like,
have the
okay,
ability or the
what is that?
capacity
I
to,
cannot imagine.
when their
You
life
know,
is under constant threat and
when you
they're
feel this, you
constantly
don't be. I
having
wasn't
that
sad. Like,
nervous system
what can
response
I
where
do?
everything
I
is
was not okay crying or
terrifying and
something. Or
miserable and
like,
tragic.
okay, I want to just say something. I know that people are here are like they have tension, they have stress or something like that. Okay, I understand it. But when you have a chance to help me, why you don't? So you are in South, and you give me your house just for a month. Okay, I'm in the street. Okay, when they came to area, like when they came here, didn't have a house or any. We called one of our relatives. I don't want to say his name. Okay, we called him. Okay, we are in the street. We need your house. This is just one day before I was injured. One day before I was injured. We told them we need your house. We are in the street and the army is don't go there. Okay, why we don't go there? He said, okay, I have like stuff there. My food, I just don't to waste it. Okay, what? We are your family. Come on, just Why you don't let us use them? We don't need your stuff. We need to sleep, and in the morning we will have to go out. Person, come on, man. You don't have a feelings or what? And that's really weird. Okay, and here I just told Isabella, I don't know why you are helping me. I didn't expect that. For real, I want to be honest. Okay, I didn't expect that. When I call my friends, I told them, okay, my friends told me we need your bank, so we need some people transfer money for them. Okay, I give them my bank, I give them my PayPal, I give them every my account. But when I tell them, okay, I just need your bank, I just need your help, they say, oh, I can't. Oh, I need it. I am afraid of being banned. Okay, till time. They said, okay, hello, Isabella, can you give me your PayPal? I just need to verification. Can you make a fundraiser for me? She is the only person who's helping me here for real. And okay, other person, my friends from gaming, I just was playing gaming before the war. They helped me a lot. The money for every single time. They are not like working a lot. I was playing CS. You know Counter Strike. Yeah, I was professional. No, 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 not me. I was prof- I was professional player in Counter Strike. So okay, we played LAN here. Like the coffee shop for gaming, we had a team. Like this team can be a professional team, can get money a lot, can get a lot of rewards in the world, and they don't give any consideration. They don't give any attention to us. Why? Because we are from Gaza. Every time I upgrade my account, I become like a top level. Suddenly, when I am playing, if the electricity turn off, you will be banned for 7 weeks. Everything you do in a week will just go for nothing. Yeah, disappear. Okay, I played for 1 week. We have a tournament. Okay, we're playing hard. I upgraded my level. Suddenly, the electricity turned off. We only had 8 hours of electricity in a day. Only 8 hours. I collected the hour. It was only 1 hour left, and the match takes 30 minutes. So I still have 30 minutes more. And suddenly the electricity turned off. Everything is gone. Where I banned for a week. My team, they said you destroyed us. We got banned from the tournament. We lost the match. I told them, what can I do? This is my life, and I cannot do anything more. I gave up. I abandoned gaming. I quit gaming after that for like 2 years. And when I just started university, I came back to it just like for fun. I always dream of being a professional gamer, but we didn't have a chance here. My PC was, sorry for that word, it was really bad, like GTX 7050 Ti. In 2024, in 2022, I had GTX 77 was really
Wow.
bad. My PC was beeping when I turned the
Really?
game. It was bad. Okay, I had friends from maybe the whole world. I had friends from whole Europe, people in Asia, maybe the people in South America and North
Yeah.
America. We don't talk a lot because they are far away. They don't join European servers. I joined European servers because they are close to me. So I had friends in Europe a lot,
Yeah.
in almost every
Yeah.
country here in Europe. But I got racism from everyone. Everyone saying you are, yeah, there is. They said you are Arab, you are Palestinian.
Mm.
How you play a war game and you are in a war? Just fight for your country or something like that. When I mentioned to you when we play in the tournaments, we faced my team was from Macedonia, Albania, and two from Morocco, one Algerian, and me Palestinian. We had like we were a group of friends. When we played, we were like five Arabs against two Israeli and like three Israelis and two from United Kingdom. It's like World War One. Do you imagine World War One? Yeah, we were like against each other. We didn't play.
Yeah.
It's a play game. We didn't play. We just saying, okay, you are Palestinian, you are Arab, there is racism, and we insult them to be
Yeah.
something like that. And they banned me. Okay, we didn't start. The one from the Israeli said, okay, just go bring food for you or fix your electricity or something. He of me in front of everyone in the team so I was really mad and I was young and this time it was 2014, 2015. something like that. Okay, I was really mad. I was young. I said to myself, I just let him say like that. There is a Swedish guy banned me, and because he hates me, and people from French, I wanna just ask him, we are not your enemy, okay? We didn't do anything bad for you. If they say, okay, hello Arab poor, hello Arab, you need drink water or get food or something. Dude, we had life. Okay, before, I know our life before 7 October was really shit. We didn't like have electricity was 8 hours. We didn't have a work. We didn't have a companies. Okay, but we were eating really good. We will have food. We had home. Okay, oh, I am not. I, I don't want to say bad things, but we are not like that poor. But if we had like a good government, and we would be better. That's it. We are not like destroyed, like really destroyed city. Now it's really destroyed. Not I tell you, if Gaza came back after 10 years, just rebuilding the house, it would be nice. It would be okay. If they need more, they say they need 5 years to rebuild, and they remove the houses, the destroyed houses. Okay, I don't imagine that. Oh, we are taking like stuff under our house. We can take like a little stuff. We say them. We took a 1 week to just remove one, like a wall like this one. 1 week for a wall to get my just two t-shirts for me. How can you rebuild a whole destroyed city in 5 years? It's really impossible.
It's interesting that, slightly off topic, the United States military actually recruits people to the army at gaming tournaments.
Yes. Well,
yes.
well, unfortunately, I mean, talking of the drones and the quadcopters, I'm a huge fan of Jeremy Scahill, the investigative journalist who wrote The Blackwater about the private mercenary military in Iraq who had committed war crimes, and also Dirty Wars about the Obama administration's global extrajudicial assassination program with drones. And of course, all of those drone operators were based in Nevada.
Yes,
effectively playing computer games. And I mean, this is the same thing happening in Gaza now with all these drones, and someone sitting behind a screen just completely detached from the death and carnage that they're wreaking. And Mohammed, you said before, when the army came to your street, and sorry, did you say that it was a tank that blew up your house, or it was an airstrike? And then you said the quadcopters came and chased you. Is that right? Shaking. Yes, the bulldozer. Yep. And they're made by Caterpillar in Ohio, I think, in the United States.
They used everything, and the trucks coming. Okay, the ground really shaking. Okay, it was like a tank. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was the caterpillar. Okay, we first of all they threw a smoke. We couldn't uh, breathe for like 2 hours. We couldn't breathe. We just had to cover our noise with water or with a blanket, just at least. And my sister just fall down, and my brother fall down. All of my family, and I had a grandma. She died from the fistful. And then they started like quadcopter came. They shooting at home. They throw a, when they enter an area, you hear this? Okay, when they enter an area, they like a lights it's morning. It's really okay. Okay, can I continue? Is that okay if I continue with this sound? Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's annoying to me. Yeah, I hope it's not annoying to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So when they entered, they threw lights in the sky. They came to
It
us.
sounded it
Told us in the
it
home.
sounded
Up
close to us.
100% they will kill
It
us.
sounded loud.
100%. In the
Okay.
beginning of the war, if they found someone in the home, they will kill them. They will just prison them, something like that. Okay, first of all, they threw a rocket in our neighbor's house. They destroyed all of it at 12 p.m. No, no. 11 p.m. They throw a rocket on our neighbor's home and they destroyed it. Then they throw rockets from the tank. Every building here got a rocket. Every building, even our house and our neighbors, every building here. We went down to the ground, like the floor ground, and like saying, okay, we will die in 10 minutes. Okay, I will die in 10 minutes. They said it's 6 a.m. We cannot go here. We called an ambulance. We told them we are, we need your help. They said we need it. It's okay, it's okay. It's a helicopter. It's shooting. Said that, you hear me? Okay, it was a helicopter. It was shooting. It's far away. Okay. When they entered the, yeah, it's a full of me, but they are not shooting here. Okay. When they entered our at 6 a.m., we had to go out at 6 a.m. I saw people in the street, like way from a street from me. I can't see them well. They just went under a house. He threw a rocket. They were pieces. I saw them like pieces. I swear. I cannot forget the image in my head. And they shoot at me. They shoot at my father, and then shoot at them. Look, we will die. No way for escaping. And we were running, and then they destroyed a house in front of my eyes, like uh, a half a street away. They
And
destroyed it, and we just went on the floor. We
Mohammed,
was like
that
crawling
is just a
like
horrible
for 5 minutes,
story.
and then with our bags.
I
Next
mean,
day,
it's a
the other
miracle you're
day,
alive.
when
It's so
we
it's
needed
amazing.
we needed our food. We
And you've
didn't
got
have
someone
anything. We just ran away.
looking after
We
you,
don't have
looking over
clothes. We don't
you.
have food.
Um,
I went with
and you said you
my
got
brother
injured
and
in your
three
leg.
cousins.
What happened?
We said we have to go, even if we die, without our stuff. We went, army was there. We were like jumping from house to house, from a wall to wall. They didn't see
Yes.
us. We got our food, we got the floor, we got like gas, our stuff. We ran away and we saw the tank. It was like starting to shoot, and okay, thank God, we managed to escape from them. And then we escaped from a place from area to area. Even the area we escaped to, the army came there. And then we went to another area, and the army came, like 10 houses, not of mine. I told you that I was going. One of my friends was living in Al Azhar University. If you heard of it, he was like sleeping there, and he told me I was like 2 months. I didn't see him. He said we have to go to get blankets for himself. It was winter, and he said where? He said in Kershaw. I told him it's a dangerous area. We cannot go there. He said when we go, if we see people, we will walk. If we don't see people, we will go back. Oh, I told him okay. We just walked an area to a place. We didn't see anyone. It was only me and him in the street. I told him what we can do. We have to go back. He said okay. Suddenly there is someone said I live there like a street away, and every day I go in this street and nothing happens. It's not dangerous. You sure? He said yes. I was shaking. I swear to you. I said I will. I said it will happen in my mind. I know that. Okay. When I walked, we were laughing. We were like making jokes, something to forget the situation. After like 10 seconds, I fall asleep. What happened? What threw on me? I didn't know. I just fall asleep. I wake up like after 20 minutes. I put my hand on my leg. I saw the blood. My finger broke. My head was injured also. I didn't see well. I didn't hear well. I just stand up. I saw my friend like away like 5 feet. He ping on the ground. He was dead. I didn't know he was dead. I was like I couldn't move. My leg is injured. I just wanted to run to bring him. I start shooting at me. I just went to like 1 meter of a wall. 1 meter. Like arrested. I don't. I said I will not go out. I will not be able to escape from the situation. I will die now. Okay. I just walked up, looked up. I saw like a hole in the wall. I just want to climb it. Okay, how to climb it, and I am injured. It's I had the power. You know how? I had the power. I climbed it. I was screaming when I climbed it. I climbed it. There is the people in Gaza were afraid to take me out. They said, okay, go to the to go. There is a doctor's there. Me to walk, man. I cannot walk. Just help me to walk. I managed to walk. I was screaming. I just managed to walk, and they got it with. They said you need to go to the hospital now. And I was afraid. They said that they will cut your leg. I was like, no, no, no. I told him I wanna die. I don't cut it. I die. Just leave me alone. He said, no worries, no worries. We will fix it. He just bring a door and he carry me and we went to the hospital. I was bleeding for 8 hours. No one
That's
saw
good
me,
that they would
and the
come to
doctors
you
were like
in your
nothing.
home.
They didn't care. They were
The
saying
doctor came
jokes.
to you
Come
in
on,
your
man. There
home, is
people
that
here are
right?
dying. What are you doing, man?
Sure.
Like they don't give a shit to us. They don't care. They are. There is no sense. And when my family came, the doctor said, take him away. He is fine. My brother told him, don't you look at his feet. He's really injured. He cannot walk. He said, this is a place for the doctors. He cannot stay there. My brother told him, okay, where can? The hospital is full of people. There are like millions injured. I was like out of clothes. Didn't have a t-shirt or jeans or something. I was like off without thing. And it was really complicated. My family just made a fight with the doctor, and he said, "Okay, forgive me." And he said, "I will take care of you if you stay in the home. Every day I will come and just replay it." And 2 months I managed to walk again, and I recovered very well.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking to hear these stories, but they're so important to be told, Mohammed. And and your friend, it's so sad to hear that. And you haven't even probably
We
had
didn't have
time to
food.
really,
I
like you
need a
said, like
protein
you've
to
just
to
been in
cover
shock.
to get recover. We didn't have food, and
Yeah,
there is no
look, on
water. There
behalf
is
of
no good
everyone
water. There
watching,
is only a
we're
salt
just
water.
so
This
sorry
cousin
that you've
helped
had
me
to
a lot.
go
He bring me
through
an
this
ambulance.
and
He bring me
everyone
food.
there.
He
And,
bring me good water from the hospital,
there's so much
and he
love
give
and
me medicine.
prayers from millions
All of
and
this on
millions,
him.
tens and
I didn't
hundreds of
pay
millions of
anything. He
people
helped
around
me
the
a
world.
lot. After 1 month, I heard
The
that
international
they just
community
killed him.
has failed.
They killed him.
The
And
governments
as
have
he
failed
was,
to
I
stop
don't
this,
just want to
but
say how he was.
the
No
people
legs, no
care.
hands, no
And
head.
it's just unfortunate that the governments
The
have been
chest
so
is
hopeless.
tough.
And hopefully now,
It
with
was
the
really,
the
you
ceasefire
cannot
has been
imagine
announced, and
the
everyone's
envelope.
reasonably
I couldn't
skeptical but
look at him.
holding their
I
breath and
said,
hoping for the
his name is,
best. And we've got
he's
this
like my name. He's
three-phase
Muhammad. I can't,
this
he
the
was really a
first
good person.
42 days. There's meant to be the hostage exchange of 3 female Israeli hostages, I think, up by Sunday, and then 1,000 Palestinian detainees to be released over the next 42 days. And then there's phase 2, where the Israeli military is meant to withdraw completely from Northern Gaza. There's no fly zones. And then finally into phase 3. But already there's reports that Netanyahu, they're not entertaining the prospect of honouring phase 2. They're just trying to please Donald Trump and then wriggle out of it any which way they can. So yeah, look, we're all really praying for you, and thank you so much for sharing your stories, Mohammed. It's heartbreaking. How old was your cousin? Mohammed? How old was he? And he was also in Northern Gaza, where you are, with you. He was a doctor. And which hospital were you at? Yeah, yeah. Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders. Yeah, look, I have my guest on episode 3 of this podcast is actually a doctor from Australia who has been to Gaza for Médecins Sans Frontières, for Doctors Without Borders. So there's doctors in Australia that have been over there and from all over the world. But sorry, did you say that he was murdered because he was a doctor?
Can you say it again?
Yes, sorry, because there's been a lot of reports that healthcare workers have been targeted in the
Yeah. Medical. Doctors Without Borders. So yeah, it was Doctors Without. They killed him because he was a doctor. What you said? This,
And
this
your grandfather, and where do you bury them? Is there
I don't know. I just the I think because he was like, not because he's working as a doctor. Uh, I don't know what happened. We found him like dead in a place. He destroyed the house. He when they entered, he was sleeping there. But when the army entered the Doctors Without Borders to search for, the people, he just came out. He was in a house. He rented a room in a house, and the house is destroyed on him. Why? What happened? We didn't know. Just we saw him. From West Bank. He came to Gaza before the war, week,
yeah,
I think. For he was living with him,
yeah.
and
Mohammed,
here
again, look,
he left West Bank to die here. Yeah, he saw the war, and we
this has
buried them
been your
both
life.
in
This is really important for the audience to understand. Like,
in my
you've been
grandfather
living this for
place.
I mean, as you said, even before the 7th of October, it was shit there. It was very
Oh,
difficult. And then
okay.
what you've
We
been through
buried
since, and this is
first.
what you've
We
been
had to
living
carry
through.
them from
And,
the hospital.
it's so important to hear your story.
When we
And
buried
thank
them,
you
when
for
we did,
sharing it
they
with
threw a
us.
rocket on
It's really, really,
the
really
place.
important.
We escaped.
And, I
Yeah,
really
for 10
send
minutes we came back.
very
We said, okay,
strong love
what
and
will
prayers
happen?
of
We will
protection to
die.
you and
Okay,
your family, and to your friend who died, and to your cousin, and to all the people that have been murdered. And, may their souls be in heaven, as
and
you
then we
said,
went home.
and may they be in a better place for sure. I just wanted to talk about also your work, because you work as a freelancer. And Isabella mentioned that you've had troubles with UpWork. UpWork is a platform where freelancers can get work around the world, wherever. But do you want to tell us about the work that you can do and what you're able to do? And hopefully the internet's going to get better for you soon with the ceasefire, and things are going to return to normal. So if people wanted to get you to do work for them, what they could do. Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
They will. They will. They will ban you.
yeah, First of all, you hear me well? Okay. The whole is not from Upwork. The whole thing happened to us like just before the war, and every time in our country is PayPal. We cannot transfer money from other countries. We had like restrictions from our bank. You cannot just transfer me like a big amount, like 500 once a month per week, something like that. We had to deal with PayPal, okay, because they take a lot of fees. We had to deal with PayPal. PayPal limit Gaza or limit whole Palestine. They say if you have accounts from Palestine and you put it, they will ban you. And all websites, they will ban you. All Upwork, freelancer, GoFundMe, other works, other jobs, they need people. Our bank, because they don't recognize us. They don't know who Gaza is. Okay, so you
So,
have to deal.
look, I'm
People
really
said if you make
concerned
an
about
account in
this.
Gaza, they will ban
And
you.
like I
So
said
what
earlier,
happens? We
I
make an
know
account,
about all their
we take the
policies,
risk.
but I'm going
We
to
don't put
reach out to PayPal.
we
I'm going to
we
reach
can
out
put
to
our
GoFundMe.
Visa
I'm going
card
to reach out to
because
Upwork,
our bank is from
freelancer, and I'm going to
West Bank.
invite them on to talk
My
to
bank from
this
West Bank, so
podcast
it
about
is
what is going
recognized
on,
in the
because
whole in the
surely
world.
they know how to
Okay,
verify
so
people.
after like 1 month, two
And
months, maybe year, 2 years,
and there is a
my
page
paper
up
was
on
in
GoFundMe
2019.
talking about
They
in
asked me for
particular
ID
the
to give
issues
their
with
ID
Palestinian
when it
campaigns, but
when
they
it, in the war
say that they can,
for like
verify everything and they can check everything and that kind of thing. So, we'll wait and see. But I will try and interview them and find out what's going on, because I think it's really
and
important.
maybe it will
And
not
obviously that
work
makes it really
well.
hard.
They will
But
also
look,
ban
I
you.
think
So I said, well,
if people wanted to try and engage you, I mean, and as I said, I've managed to get Ahmed Al-Shanti through LinkedIn doing the video editing for me. Then we'll work out how I'm going to pay him. But yeah, it's difficult, obviously, with the PayPal. Whether there can be a bank transfer, we'll work it out. But it should be much easier than it is, because there's enough obstacles going on for you, and the fact that you're still there, ready and willing to work, is really admirable. And I hope that we can sort that out. And I hope lots of people who watch this podcast get in touch with you to give you work and to work out how to, and other people as well, other professionals in Gaza who are ready to work, and the West Bank, and to work out how we can pay, because maybe there needs to be an alternative open sourced program to PayPal, something different that doesn't discriminate against Palestinians. Sorry, you go, Isabella.
Sorry. I just think it's also important to note that the expectation that Palestinians be working and trying to find work remotely throughout the circumstances that they're in is a product of the fact that no humanitarian support has been let in, and that all of their infrastructure has been destroyed. It seems ridiculous to me that in the conditions that Mohammed is in, he is having to go out and find remote work whilst suffering a genocide. And I think the other thing is that as Mohammed looks to relocate and evacuate from Gaza, any opportunities for work abroad as well are really being looked for, because at the moment, the situation is just not sustainable. Even I tried to withdraw funds from Mohammed's, I don't remember if it was freelance.com or UpWork, but attempting to withdraw funds through my PayPal so that I can then transfer it to him legally. And you have to go through all of these really stringent steps where Mohammed has to film a video saying that he authorizes the money to be paid. Originally, when I was going to withdraw, it said that it would take 2 days for the money to be processed. And as soon as we did that ID verification video, the date switched, and it's now not until the 1st of January that we're expecting the funds to be processed and transferred. And the fact that that deadline has extended so significantly makes me feel that it's more than likely that they will review his account and not transfer the funds. So you're just constantly dealing with this suspicion purely arising from the fact that Mohammed is a young man who lives in Gaza, and the assumption is automatically that that money is being used to fund terrorism. And this is the fallacy that has enabled Israel to undertake this campaign against Gazans, is this idea that everyone is potentially a target, everyone is Hamas, which is categorically untrue.
Well, and then at the same time, $8 billion more dollars, $32 billion have gone to terrorism from the United States, from taxpayers in the United States, from, tens of millions of Americans who oppose this war, including millions of Jewish Americans who oppose this genocide. There are many, many, thousands of Jewish Australians who oppose this genocide. Yeah, I mean, the double standards, the hypocrisy, the duplicitousness, it's just unbelievable. And, surely these tech companies can do a hell of a lot better in this day and age where they hold all the digital and technological power and technical prowess that they could work that out. We do have to wrap up shortly-ish, but part of the point of this podcast is to, talk to people about the amazing work they do, about their amazing lives, whether they be lawyers, advocates, activists, people in difficult situations, overcoming almost insurmountable odds. But also it's about creating practical measures, outcomes in order to change the world for the better, which I feel like I've been attempting in my small contribution in my adult life to do. But I I want people to feel moved to action. And one thing I can foresee with all of Mohammed's skills is that a company overseas in Australia, in Europe, in North America, in South America, could sponsor Mohammed to do lots of different types of work for them, whether it be Arabic, English translation, interpreting, whether it's him being a professional gamer for them. There's so many different opportunities. And look at this guy. He's incredible. You've got more than 9 lives, Mohammed, from what you've just described to us, how close you've come to death so many times. And you know, the fact that you've still just so articulate about your experience, and, you know, you've even made a few jokes about the situation you're in. I mean, it's incredible and very admirable. So I'd love to see, you know, CEOs from companies getting in contact with me, getting in contact with Isabella and Mohammed, and let's work out how to get him out of Gaza, and, you know, so that he can realize his potential in a Jungian sense of self-actualization of the, you know, the contribution, the potential that he's got to give to the world, and especially after what he's been through and what he's seen. Just before we get to the end bit, the pre-end bit, I was just going to ask you, Isabella, you wanted to talk about vicarious trauma as a theme and a topic of something relevant to anyone who's been paying attention in the last 15 months.
I think that I've recently been using the term vicarious trauma to describe what is happening within the community of pro-Palestinian activists, people who are advocating for peace in Palestine. And I think that a lot of this cognitive dissonance that we're seeing with people who do support Israel's actions is just a lack of awareness of the actual content of the footage that does exist and that people are being exposed to. I think the movement for peace in Palestine in Australia is systematically denigrated. We're told that we're anti-Semitic. We're told that we're aiding terrorism and that we're sympathizers with Hamas. And the reality is that the people like me who are building friendships and partnerships with people in Gaza and who have been devoting their energies to this for, I think it's like 14 months now, 14 or 15 months, we are people who are actually traumatized by what we've seen. You know, I'm actually starting to get grey hairs and I'm 22. And I think then being expected to engage with people as if nothing is happening, be silent in your workplace about something that is deeply affecting you. That kind of culture of silence that is prevalent in corporate communities is something that I've experienced very viscerally on LinkedIn. I will post about Mohammed's situation, post calls to action, ask for support, and it's met with radio silence. The only people who are interested seem to be weapons companies and defense and space industries who are monitoring my posts and are clearly popping up in the audience every time I post about Mohammed. And I think that the turning point is has to be when people actually wake up to the fact that, you know, these are real people. They are not just disembodied victims on the screen. And that is what this relationship with Mohammed has taught me, is that there are real people experiencing this, and it is not a political issue, it's a human issue.
I absolutely agree. Look, many years ago when I was in high school, a long time ago, and in fact, this coming full circle, this podcast, the Seeking Justice podcast for all the justice seekers out there, the motto of my Catholic high school was Seek Justice, and John 23rd College in Perth. And one of our teachers, religious education, would bring in these fabulous speakers. And on one occasion, he brought in 3 nuns who were in Rwanda during the genocide. And I was so moved. I don't think any of my friends or peers were, because they all just ran out at the end. I went down the front and I just said, because I hated school, my family life was horrendous, and I just said, I want to go to Rwanda with you and help out. And really? The point of the story is, I mean, they kind of patted me on the head, patronizing. They're like, yeah, you're a crazy kid. See you later. But when this has happened for me, it's just a no-brainer, because I often think about the banality of evil when evil thrives when good people stand by and do nothing. Like, how can we all look back on the Holocaust and say, oh, but I would have done this, oh, but I would have done that, oh, but I would have done this. And then I heard, because I'm listening to way too many podcasts about these issues, someone was saying today on a podcast I was listening to, it's probably the case that the people that have done nothing now during this genocide, sadly, would have probably done nothing during the Holocaust. They probably would have done nothing. Now, whether that's out of sheer laziness, whether it's out of selfishness, whether it's out of awkwardness, whether it's out of being completely disempowered as citizens, they don't know what to do, they don't understand their agency and or their political power even as individuals, who knows? But it is very, 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 very disappointing, profoundly, for me, as a human rights eternal optimist of sorts, notwithstanding I have my Irish and French evolutionary impulses, and I can be, a bit feel the despair in the world for sure, but I'm always optimistic that we can make a difference. I know statistically it's always 5% of populations that actually bring about positive change and the rest of the people just follow along. But one would have thought that when there's a live stream genocide happening in your phones, the least you could do is say something about it. The least you could do is pick up your phone and call someone like Mohammed in Gaza and let him know that the world cares, and let him know that we're thinking about them, and let him know that we're trying to stop this craziness that our governments are committing. Yeah, so I agree. I'm so inspired to meet both of you. 21, 22 years old. That was sadly ancient history for me, but it's really inspiring to see this beautiful connection across the world. How articulate both of you are. You both look amazing as well. So, don't worry about that. I'm hopeful that we can certainly keep in touch with you, Mohammed, on this podcast and otherwise, keep in touch with you to make sure that we can help you and help other people, be able to realize their potential, like all libertarians should be doing, should be supporting individuals, realize their potential, get out of these circumstances which they had no choice in being born into, for example, and at the same time also Gaza needs to be rebuilt, all of the infrastructure. Getting to the end point now, because I'm a former award-winning slam poet and a musician and an artsy-fartsy kind of person, I want to invite my guests to share a poem, a song, an interpretive dance, whatever they want really, something that moves and inspires them. They don't have to, of course, but it's just an opportunity to express and be moved by words in a different format than just ranting on a podcast. So, Mohammed, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Yeah, I just want to say something. You know that I managed to work as a content writer and translator, but the most thing I just want to work is two things. I want to be a professional gamer, and I didn't do that because of the life here. I can't just work as a gamer. I have always wanted to be like, a podcaster, me talking. I just wanted to tell my stories to people, what happened to me in gaming. I had many friends, the same situations happened to them. Who need this? We can just like really famous. We are really fun. We make like good things. I really love football, and I have wide experience on it. I have really wanted to. I just to write. I'm a content writer. I want always to write about football. I have managed to write portfolios, proposals to jobs, making blogs, script write, videos, questions about football, something like that. Every time I didn't get them, but I say it's okay.
And become a professional football player for Barcelona.
Yeah, yeah. I have really good experience in football. I didn't manage to be a
Amazing.
professional. It's like everything about football. I am good at it. So Even
Amazing. Yeah, awesome. Well, we're putting the word out there to
pass
the
along.
universe, to the world, about Mohammed, the sports journalist, football commentator, professional gamer extraordinaire,
Yeah,
and content writer,
yeah,
translator. Is there
yeah.
anything you can't do? It's quite amazing. And Mohammed, do you have a poem that you know that you would like to share?
Yeah, this is my dream. If I get this opportunity, I'm ready
Mm.
to give up on life after that. For real. Yeah, for real. I just
Yeah, and because I saw him on a podcast, so I bought his books, and yeah, so I've got those ones.
training. I
Yeah, oh,
a lot
I'm
of
so
passion
sorry.
about it.
Yeah. Oh, you like rap? But well, no, but look,
A poem.
I think your voice is great, and maybe we'll get, yeah. And I think we'll definitely have you guys back on the podcast, and so the homework is from the maybe this is the University of Rap.
مصعب وتوها.
You have to write a rap, Muhammad, and so next time you can
Yeah, I
perform it,
heard about
and
it.
maybe you and Isabella can write a rap together. How about that?
You don't want to hear that from me.
I definitely do.
Yeah,
But
you remember new
Muhammad, do
something,
you
but
mind if we share a
I
poem
just don't
each?
want to remember it because my friend was a poem. He was really good one. He died in the war. He was a good poet and he died in the war. Okay, I don't listen to. I don't read a lot of
Yeah,
poems. But I had a good experience. I tried to sing, but you hear my voice really. Yeah, but at least I can talk about it. For for rapping.
yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, we're definitely thinking of him. Isabella, did you want to read your or speak your poem? I don't know if you're reading or not.
I have chosen to read The Second Coming by William Butler Yeats. I think it's he had this whole analysis about history moving in cycles. And I think this one captures what's going on pretty scarily almost. Um Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the centre cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming, hardly are those words out of my mouth when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in the sands of the desert, shaped with lion body and the head of a man, the gaze blank and pitiless as the sun is moving its slow thighs, while all about it reel shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born?
That's very powerful. That
The other one, so that
beautiful.
you
Yeah.
can
Thank you.
choose which one to use in post-production.
No. I'm using all of this, everything. There's no posts. I'm too lazy. I don't know what I'm doing. I need a podcast producer world out there as well. So
Yeah.
there's no post.
This is called If I Must Die, and it's by Rafat Alaria, who was a poet and actually a dear friend of Mohammed Abo Mansour, who was killed in Gaza.
Not long after he wrote this poem, I think, as well. And he was an academic was he an academic at Al-Aqsa University?
Rafat Alaria, I'm actually not sure.
Yes, we can hear. Mohammed, just before, what is that? Because the sound that I hear through it's almost like a musical sound. But what is the sound? What is it? Isn't it? It's like a drone. And is it just sitting above your house? I mean, yeah, I mean, it would drive anyone crazy. It's just unbelievable.
Every time I hear it, I am in shock every time I hear it. And every time Mohammed just says it's normal, we've normalized to it. This is what it's like all the time. And right now they're talking about a ceasefire and they're still listening to this. It sounds exactly the same as it has every single time I've been on.
Guys, you hear me?
Well, I mean, very sadly, I heard there was a report today of a young journalist in Gaza. Of course, more journalists murdered.
Musical sound.
200 in
the
last 15 months than ever before in a war. I mean, it's insane.
It's insane, dude. I cannot hear you. You saw me like coming close to the. I cannot hear you. The sound is really annoying.
Contravening UN declarations.
It's like a bee.
Assembly resolutions, UN Security Council resolutions. The amount of health workers that have been murdered,
Like that.
journalists that have been murdered, and this young
It's
man,
just flying around.
he had just been posting to his social media celebrating the ceasefire, and then he was assassinated.
Yeah, if you hear it, you will not
saw
sleep.
A report on LinkedIn that 82 people have been, and this is from the health ministry, 82 people have been killed since the announcement of the ceasefire. So yeah, it's just.
That's the thing as they talk about ceasefire is that they're talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Yes.
Like I would love to feel optimistic and hopeful, and that is the spirit that I'm going to try and take forward is optimism and hope. But at the same time, we also have to weigh the fact that Donald Trump and his allies will shortly be in control of the largest military in the world. And the way that they have spoken about Gaza and Palestinians is really quite unsettling.
And let's not forget, it's the largest military in world history.
Yeah.
This is the largest military empire that has ever existed in the history of this planet Earth that we know.
And I think that now is not the time to be complacent. Now is not the time for people to rest on their laurels and think that the work has been done.
That's why I'm still wearing my
absolutely
house shirt.
Yeah,
I'll keep wearing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I will share with you that Refat Alaria poem. He says, "If I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left it ablaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale."
Thank you. Another practical thing that people can do on this podcast is that Ryan Grimm from Dropsite News, who are on Substack, an amazing investigative journalist with Jeremy Scahill I mentioned before, they were running a campaign to get Refat Alaria's book to the top of the New York Times bestseller list. And so the idea was to get as many people to pre-order it. It hasn't been released yet, but you can still pre-order it to get it right up the top of the bestseller lists. And I've certainly made my order so other people can do that. That was really beautiful. Isabella, I might just end this podcast there, but I'm going to be slightly indulgent because I haven't read these. I might cut this out in post. Maybe there will be posts
I'd love to hear them.
Where I want to edit myself out,
I sympathize with the feeling.
Yeah, but this is called, this book is called Forest of Noise, and I only recently bought it. I saw an interview with Mossab. I forget what podcast it was, or news platform. But the preface really struck me in this book. I'll just show the cover again. Forest of
Thank you
Noise.
for this.
It says, "Every child in Gaza is me. Every mother and father is me. Every house is my heart. Every tree is my leg. Every plant is my arm. Every flower is my eye. Every hole in the earth is my wound." That's not even the beginning of the poems, by the way. That's the preface.
Thank you, Benedict.
So there's two beautiful poems. I'm sure I could just read all of them in here, but this one is called Younger Than War. Tanks roll through dust, through eggplant fields, beds unmade, lightning in the sky. Brother, jumping to the window to watch warplanes. Clouds of smoke after airstrikes. Warplanes, eagles, searching for a branch on which to perch. No need for radio. We are the news. Ants' ears hurt with each bullet, fired from wrathful machine guns. Soldiers advance, burn books. Some smoke-rolled sheets of yesterday's newspapers, just like they did when they were kids. Our kids hide in the basement, backs against concrete pillars, heads between knees, parents silent. Humid down there, and the heat of burning bombs adds to the slow death of survival. In September 2000, I bought bread for dinner. I saw a helicopter fire a rocket into a tower. Concrete and glass fell from high. Loaves of stale bread. At the time, I was 7, decades younger than war, and a few years older than bombs.
Thank you, Benedict. That's a really beautiful poem.
And just the final poem, it's called My Dreams as a Child. This is a beautiful, and it's, I think, on point with what we've been discussing and trying to keep optimistic as much as one can. My dreams as a child. I still have dreams about a room filled with toys my mother always promised we could have if we were rich. I still have dreams about seeing the refugee camp from a window on a plane. I still have dreams about seeing the animals I learnt about in 3rd grade: elephant, giraffe, kangaroo, and wolf. I still have dreams about running for miles, and miles with no borders, blocking my feet with no unexploded bombs scaring me off. I still have dreams about my favourite team playing soccer on the beach, me waiting for the ball to come my way and run away with it. I still dream about my grandfather, how much I want to pick oranges with him in Jaffa. But my grandfather died. Jaffa is occupied, and oranges no longer grow in his weeping groves. Yeah, they're very, very beautiful poems. And yeah, thank you. Thank you both. Yeah, look, it's hard to say goodbye, Mohammed. And we've only just met face to face, but already, you know, I feel a really strong connection. And to you too, Isabella. As I said, we'll definitely have to have you back on, and both of you, and we'll keep in touch about how things are progressing for you, Mohammed. We're on a mission. We'll have you habla español in no time, speaking Spanish, and getting ready to, you know, hopefully we can find someone to sponsor you to get out of Gaza and your family too. Thank you so much, and take care.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been Thank you. I won't forget what you have also given to me, and I feel like I've learned so much from you in the time that we've known each other. Thank you so much, Benedict, for being one of the few people actually being very vocal and platforming these stories. It's really important and really admirable.
Yeah, well, as I say, when people say that to me, I get a lot of positive. I get a lot of haters, of course, but I also get a lot of lovers, and I get a lot of support. And as I say, my response is, it's the absolute least I can do. It is the absolute least I can do to use my privilege as a white male in Australia, in the world, and to use my platform to, be able to give a voice to the voiceless, as it were. And yeah, look, my heart's full. It's just so wonderful to meet you, Mohammed
Yeah,
and
I just
Isabella.
really appreciate your
And
help, guys.
Mohammed, keep
You are doing
safe,
a lot of
keep your
things
family
to me.
safe. I know
Spreading
you're
my
staying in
message
your
to the world
neighbour's
is really
house,
a
and
good
they're
thing.
coming back
So
from
I
the
just
south now
wanted
that the
to.
ceasefire's been called. So
Uh,
you need
Thanks for
somewhere to
everything.
live.
Thank you,
So we're
Ben.
putting
Thank
that out
you,
there as
Isabella, for
well.
everything you do
If
to me.
anyone knows
You are really
anyone
a
who
good
knows
person.
someone who knows someone
And
else who can
I will never
offer
forget that
Mohammed's
in my
family
life.
some shelter, that would be wonderful. And yeah, look, there's all kinds of things happening. I saw a very wealthy philanthropist from. Now I'm trying to remember if it was from the US or the UK, but he actually took his own humanitarian aid. This guy's very wealthy. He took his own humanitarian aid to Gaza, and he travelled with it to make sure it got in where it was going, or to try and get it in where it was going. So we need more billionaires and millionaires on the side of the good. And so putting that out there to the world as well, there's nothing we can't do if we all work together to do it. So here's to hoping, and here's to doing, and here's to getting out there and making a positive difference to the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.